Welcome, everyone. This is Joe Dager, the host of the Business 901 podcast. With me today is Cindy Barnes. Cindy is a business innovator, strategist, speaker, and notwithstanding, the founder of her UK-based company, Future Curve. She is also the author of Crafting and Delivering Your Value Proposition, which was, I kind of think, one of the original works and still a best-selling book on the subject of value propositions. I'd like to welcome you, Cindy. How is it over in the UK there?
Thank you very much, Joe, and it's a real pleasure to be on your program. So I'm really delighted to be here, and it's very cold and foggy here today in the UK.
The winter is set in, okay? But book, I think, was published in 2011. Before, at the start of this craze of delivering value propositions, just about. So, can you say what's changed in that time and why did that revolution happen?
Sure. It was actually earlier than that, Joe. It was actually, the book was published in 2009. It's a long time ago now. Yeah, it's a long time ago. We focused on that, on the topic of that book, because it's about the value proposition being a total approach to a business, and a total approach to adding service design into the mix. And I think what's changed in that time is that people have heard about the term value proposition much, much more than they did before. But also, I think because of various software products, Salesforce is one, I have to say, the term value proposition tends to get lumped in with product design, or it tends to be the product, or it tends to be what I would call the sales proposition. I'm very, very keen to keep talking about the value proposition as the original intent, the original intent of where the phrase was started from, that it's much more than just the sales proposition. It's much more than just the thing that you're going to sell.
Well, so can you maybe define what a value proposition is, since you kind of challenge where it went?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Our definition of what a value proposition is, and the original definition, the guy that originally developed the phrase value proposition was Michael Lanning back in the early 90s. And Michael Lanning's explanation of a value proposition, it was the focus of what you sell, but it's based on the whole company process. It's based on having the products, the services, the systems. It's based on, he didn't call it that then, but it's based on the customer experience. And we've taken that idea and we built on that idea. So our definition of a value proposition is it's the total sum of the offerings and customer experiences, how you deliver them to your customer at every interaction with the customer. So that means it's the products and services, it's how you deliver them, and it's the way in which you deliver them. So it's almost like a blueprint for how you're going to deliver your customer experience, but from the company point of view.
From the company's view, not, let's say, the customer's view.
But the development of it and the research behind it has to be based on the customer's view. It absolutely has to be based on the customer's view. So it's all the input is from the customer, and it's based on your capability, but it's effectively how you're going to deliver as an organization your customer experience.
Let's jump out there and say, what are some of the outcomes of developing a good value proposition? I mean, why should I?
Yeah, why should you? Because I tell you the number one thing that I say to people is it gives, as a company, and particularly smaller companies, startup companies, we do a lot of work with all sorts of different size of companies, from global corporates, but we do a lot of work with small companies and startup companies through the fantastic work that the Irish government are doing with supporting their startup companies in Ireland. The biggest thing that it gives smaller companies and startup companies is it gives them confidence. And that's something that is actually quite, it's incredibly important and very difficult to quantify. But I hear this time and time and time again. It gives us confidence that we know what we're doing, we know who we're doing it for, we know that we've got our customers in the mix and they're on side, and we know that we're all going in the same direction. Number one thing it gives you is confidence.
Well, I think it's interesting you say that and you bring up startups, because I always find startups, they have this idea, they develop their product, and then they have a very difficult time transitioning to market or proven product market fit. And is that hyphen between product and market fit, is that the value proposition?
Absolutely. It's absolutely one of the key inputs. Absolutely one of the key inputs. So we have a model in our first book. We developed a model for how you create a value proposition called the Value Proposition Builder, effectively, and it's got 6 stages. And the first stage is absolutely understanding the market, the sort of macro market and the more refined market. The second stage is absolutely understanding your customers, but from their perspective. And what you do is you put those two together. And then the third phase is look at what offerings and capabilities you have. So you're basically doing a matching of what the market wants, the market conditions, what the customers want from their perspective. And that's a key point in our research. And then you're bringing it together with the company capabilities and the company offerings. So it's a three-way fit.
Okay, well, how simple should one be? I always struggle with the fact that people get this group of people together and we put all these Post-it notes on a wall and we develop a value proposition. I mean, simple it should be, and maybe how long should it take to create one?
I have a bit of a problem with the value proposition statement, because I think you can only distill things down to a sort of statement after you've done a lot of the work. And what I see time and time again is workshops and training and blah, 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 which just teaches you how to craft your value proposition, how to write your value proposition. And I have to say, from my experience, one of the issues has been that it's a stage particularly Salesforce.com actually has value proposition as a stage where you're supposed to put your value proposition in a sort of, little box. And that, I think, contributes to the problem that you've just got to come up with this sort of, I call it, people think it's like a silver bullet for sales. I'll come up with the magic words, I'll fire them at my customers like some sort of, hypnotic trance, and then they'll be hypnotized into buying from me. And that's a little bit of magical thinking. So I'm not steering away from having a statement, but what I'm saying is you've got to do the research and you've got to do the other work before you can distill it into something that really means something for you.
Okay, now tell me a little bit about Future Curve and what areas do they cover?
Well, we focus on customer-centric, helping companies often move from a product-centric organization to a customer-centric organization. That's the big thing that we do. And in the process of that, one of the ways of doing that is help companies with the design of their value proposition, the design and implementation of their value proposition, because it's a good vehicle for helping companies move to being much more customer-centric. We do a massive amount of research. We've got social scientist researchers, psychology researchers, and anthropologist researchers. So to really understand customers from their perspectives, which is absolutely key. And we work globally. We work all over the world. We've been have a fantastic partnership with the Irish government. We've been working with them since 2009, taking startup and smaller businesses through this process and helping them grow their exports, helping them grow in export markets, which is why Ireland it's a small country, but it still has the highest export growth of any EU country. So we're very proud of that association with the Irish government. But we work with companies of all sizes, all sectors.
Well, I would like to encourage everyone. I still use crafting, delivering your value proposition on a regular basis in my work. I still think it's a great book. I think I gave it away, okay, and it's on my Kindle now because I wasn't going to buy the hard copy again, okay. That way I can carry it with me. So
I'll send you one, Joe.
No. Well, what's the best way for someone to contact you and learn more?
Please email me. Email is Cindy Barnes, all one word, CindyBarnes @futurecurve.com, FutureCurve as it sounds, or via Twitter or via LinkedIn. I was going to say LinkedIn. I'm increasingly not a big fan of LinkedIn, I have to say. Twitter's good. Email's good.
Well, I would like to thank you very much. This podcast will be available on the Business 901 iTunes Store and the Business 901 blog site. So thanks, everyone, for listening.
Thank you so much, Joe, for the invitation, and it's been an absolute pleasure, and I hope it's been useful to your listeners as well.